How's it looking in the engine room, Ben?
No worse than usual. I was just doing, because we've got a 6-day thing, I think the last 2 or 3 days we're going to be motoring a lot. I've been down and I always clean the engine out, the engine bay out, the bilge out, so you can see any new drips, oil or water or anything else like that. But yeah, everything's fine. The oil's looking pretty dirty, but it's because it's coming up for its service. It's about that was actually came as partly stuff out of the filter because there's a bit of water in the diesel from this side. So just drain down that little bit of water there and keep an eye on that. It's just a question of knowing, you know,
how much is coming out.
Yeah, what everything's like now, and then run the engine for 6 hours and have another look, and you can go, oh, I need to drain out more water, or there's loads of oil on the floor. But if you don't clean up first, you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're leaving in about half an hour.
Yeah. So this is it. We're about to leave for the Bahamas. It's a 6-day trip. Hopefully a bit quicker. Because I've just realised that 6 days is almost half the time it took us to cross the Atlantic. And I wasn't really prepared for such a long time at sea. Hadn't really thought about it, but you know, it's going to be fine, I think. First day and a half might be a fairly big swell. Then it's going to calm down, so that'll be nice because it's always a bit uncomfortable with the swell on the beam. So, ready, Captain?
Yeah, do you realise this will be the single longest passage we've ever done? Just the two of us.
Yeah.
And you know that these are going to be quite big waves.
Yeah. I'm not worried about big waves. It's just how hard it is to cook and things when.
Well, that's why we'll leave now, and if it's really bad, then we've got time to come back before dark. If we get out there and it's really shitty.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine as long as the forecast is actually what it says it's going to be.
Yeah, it's not like
it's never reliable.
Another metre and a half of swell would be. Well, I'd turn around then, I think.
Yeah, so we'll go out there and see how we get on. No, now it wants to do that.
That was a mistake.
Put it away, Ben.
Put it away. No one wants to see that.
Bye, BVIs. It was short and sweet. We are Bahamas bound.
Well, this is a good start. Get exactly what was forecast, which is sort of 15, 17 knots, just under 20 knots of wind. And we're doing over 6 knots, and it's just forward of the beam, and we're not quite on course, so when we turn it will come slightly more onto the beam, so we should heel over slightly less.
And our course will be what, 310?
It's about 310, yeah.
But at the moment the swell is only about half a metre in here.
We're protected in here. Like, as soon as we get out, I think we'll get 1.5 metres today, maybe 2 metres by tonight, and then overnight, always 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to pick right up to 3 metres, maybe more.
Yes, when it's dark
and then come round to the north. So at the moment the swell's coming from the north-east, but will come directly north, so we'll be sailing 310, we'll be crossing it in a long diagonal, which I'm hoping won't be too violent in motion. It's better than it being right on the side.
Isn't there supposed to be like 13 seconds between waves?
Yeah, that's what
crazy,
I've seen. It's the 13 plus, a period of 13 plus seconds. So we're really hoping that there's no other tripping swell. Like, you know, sometimes you get a wind swell from a slightly different direction that crosses it, smaller, but makes peaks. And those peaks are what the wind blows in and usually get you really wet. So we're hoping there's no tripping swell, no crossing swell.
No, because there's nothing worse than having a really uncomfortable wet passage. It's alright if you can stay dry and sort of deal with it, but it's just that last straw, isn't it? It breaks the camel's back.
I think when your bed gets wet, because it's hot at the moment, it's still about 28 degrees, so trying to sleep with all the hatches closed, even the aft cabin one, sometimes you get a wave that just washes across the deck and it does go in.
There'll be memories of the Canaries to Mindelo crossing.
Yeah. We had all our bedding drying like 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
looks like a beauty.
Yeah, hopefully that's gonna go. It wasn't a very big mix, so.
Did you go super wet again?
It was quite wet, yeah, but.
Meanwhile, we're cruising. That's under reading a bit. I'm going to have the little paddle wheel out in a second, just before we get outside land and clean it. But yeah, sort of 14, 15 knots on the beam. And we're making 6 knots over ground, 6.3. It's about midday, so we've only been out a few hours. We're still in the shallow area of about 40 metres depth. And there's about a 1.5 metre swell at the minute, nothing big, but the angle of it, and it's a bit choppy. It's made, for the first time ever, I've started to feel, well, not the first time ever, but I've started to feel a bit seasick. Nikki's not feeling 100%, she's just reading her book. And we've just taken a pill for it, and hopefully that'll see us through until we get our sea legs. We haven't really been out in any swell for, what, 5 days, something like that. So it'll take us a couple of days.
Quite excited about lunch today. That bread turned out alright, didn't it?
Yeah, it had a bit of a soggy bottom because it's been in the pan too long, but
yeah,
it's drying out now.
Okay. It's blowing about, well, just over 20, which is fine, normally, but we're sort of sailing into it and into the swell, so feeling a bit sick. Ben's just taking a reef. We've rolled in a bit of the Genoa as well. So, just hoping the wind comes around and becomes a bit more downwind, which I don't think it's going to, but I'd like it to.
Let the main sheet go a little bit more.
Yeah.
So in the end it's turned out as rough, if not more rough than I'd expected. We're pretty foolish in the fact we didn't prepare any pre-cooked meals, so we're trying to cook in this, which is insanely difficult. Nikki's doing really well. Wind is up double what was forecast on predict wind. Well, not quite double, but nearly. And the direction is definitely forward of the beam. It's like 60 degrees to us, rather than sort of 90 or after that, which was what was forecast.
The consequences is making Nikki very, very sick. It's making me sick.
Grumpy.
She's grumpy.
I'm not very good at all when it's anything forward of 90. Oh.
But this is rough. I mean, I think we have at least 2.5 meters of sea at the minute, maybe a bit more than that. Right on the beam, and it's rough. We can actually hear a rescue in progress on the radio. We're only getting one side of it from the Coast Guard side, but not quite sure where they are or what the problem is. There's people in the water. We've managed to hear that much, but we haven't got the location, and we don't know what sort of boat, how far offshore or anything like that at the minute. We're just listening in and seeing what happens. But it's a bad day to be out. Hopefully all the pain will be over by tomorrow morning, and the winds will be coming around from behind us a little bit more, and the sea's dying down. So just keep trucking. Thumbs down. Yeah, I'm still here. Rough as. It's just gone 8 in the morning. We had a terrible night last night. Nicky was really sick, the seas were really big, and sort of confused, and it wasn't massively windy, but the cockpit was really wet. We had a lot of water and everything got soaked, and because there was traffic around as well, not much but enough that I couldn't just sort of go and ditch in my bunk. So I was going down and sleeping for sort of 15-20 minutes and coming up and checking everything. And we made it. We made it through all right. There's still quite a lot of water moving around at the minute. It's okay. It's not that uncomfortable, but the winds have dropped right down, so our speed isn't so good. We're only making about 4 knots, which is going to take us a long time to do the 840 miles, or I suppose 740 miles we've got left. There was one worrying thing. There's an awful lot of water in the forward bilge compartment. When any water comes in through the deck or the I think it might be around the anchor windlass where the chain goes through the hole, because the bow was just underwater all the time. Like every wave, it was just we were just getting swamped at the front. I think, but there was a lot. There was like, I don't know, 30-40 litres in there or something. Maybe not quite that much, 20 litres. But it's easy to pump out because it's in the shower bilge, so you just pump out with the shower pump. But I'm going to keep an eye on that and try and find out exactly where it was coming from. Otherwise everything seems okay, but we took a beating last night. I mean, the boat was shaking like hell, like worse than I've ever. You know, she's a tough boat, but she was shaking, like just the impact of the waves. It's because we were beating into it, like 3 metre swell coming sort of towards us. Yeah, it was a tough night. It was a tough night. Anyway, the sun's out. It's a beautiful day today. We're hoping the swell's just going to drop. The wind's going to pick up a little bit and come round from behind us, and then we'll start making better progress. And just set our sights on the sweet sunny Bahamas. I think both of us are feeling, finding this pretty hard. I'm still feeling pretty seasick, even like 2 days in, which is unusual, really unusual for me. This stretch, when the trade winds are in place and blowing normally, is a nice, comfortable downwind run. It's not, I mean, we're still beating into it. The wind is still just ahead of the beam. It's 2 days in. So yeah, Nikki's just about doing a nut, trying to fix some tea. I don't know how she's managing really. It's going to be another long night. Well, I was feeling really rough a minute ago, but I found a miracle cure for seasickness. Have a little beer and the bubbles wash away all that horrible feeling. Perfect. Yeah, it's day 3 of our trip to the Bahamas, and the wind is still way forward of the beam, so we're still beating, even though the weather forecast said after the first sort of 24 to 36 hours we would have winds coming round to after the beam and then behind us. We're still beating. It makes for, yeah, harder work. Just everything's harder work. Although I've got to say the sea state is calming down as forecast, which is nice. So we're down to sort of, I don't know, 1.5–2 metres of swell, and that's forecast to improve further. So this is the predict wind data shown in table form, as I find this quite useful. I've just downloaded a new forecast, which is taken from, downloaded today, a bit of a reflection there. So that's our GPS position, a little white dot there. The tables, so that's your wind speed. So you're sort of looking at an average wind speed of somewhere between, well, probably 15 knots for pretty much the whole time. They start to disagree a little bit further on. The 4 different lines are the 4 different forecast models. If we go down, so that's the true wind direction, and this is what I've got a bit of an issue with, because the wind direction isn't what we've got at all. It's saying they all agree that it should be somewhere between, well, I mean, that's 120 degrees. I would say if you took the average of them, it would be about 120 degrees going slightly more behind you. The fact is our wind angle is more like 60 in front of us. I know there's a bit of an apparent wind to allow for our apparent wind of us moving forward, but it's not that much. So that's what's making it uncomfortable, is the fact the wind's a lot more forward of the beam than it would be or should be according to the forecast. Anyway, then we've got wave height. This is a nice picture. So the wave height is dropping quite substantially over the rest of the journey, which will be nice, and maintaining the wind speed of about 15 knots all the way. That should make for some really nice comfortable sailing towards the end, so hopefully, and the wave direction gradually coming round to more behind us. That's the true wave direction. So the wind's just come round enough that I was able to pull out the twin headsails, and the difference that makes is incredible. The motion changes and gets a lot more comfortable, and then you pick up at least 1.5 knots extra speed. I've had to deviate course just a little bit, but hopefully now this will be the way it goes all the way to Bahamas. got to say, from a passage that started out as being, I wouldn't say hell on earth, but not just unpleasant as anything. As soon as the wind comes from behind and the swell drop down, like you get the twin headsails out, and we're still making reasonably good speed in light winds. The swell's nothing much now, like maybe 1.5 meters, maybe 2, I don't know, but the difference is between like a magic carpet ride like it is now and like a big bumpy Big Dipper ride before, and you know, now this is, I can't think of anything better to do. It's just, I love it so much I can hardly describe. And before I was just about at one point ready to throw in the towel and turn back. So sometimes you just have to persevere and get on and do what you got to do, but yeah, this has been brilliant.
So it's our 5th day at sea, and it's only 11 AM and we're being lazy and watching a film already.
Good one though.
Yeah, got Leon on the box. And we think we've got another 20, no, probably 30 hours to go.
Yeah.
To Eleuthera Island, so not too bad. The winds have been really consistent, which is great, but it sort of means you don't really have to do anything. So today will mostly be films. We had a shower yesterday, so don't have to do that. Well, the generator won't start.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm thinking it might be air getting into the fuel line, but I'll just do a little demo. It starts nice and easily and just runs for a few seconds, and then if you leave it for like a longer period and then do it, it will run for a long period like that. But if I try and restart it straight away, then it won't run. It won't fire up again at all. So I think it's a fuel supply thing. It's either, yeah, I think it's a fuel supply problem. So that or air's getting in somewhere. There's a possibility it might be a safety cutout in the event of not enough engine oil. This 4-stroke has engine oil in it. There's been an oil leak, and I can see in the bottom of the box there's oil. It's coming out somewhere high up, so it's running down this side. Gasket failed or something. So I'm just trying to tighten up anything that I think might be leaking oil, and then I'm going to top it back up again and then try it and see what happens. That would be a really, really easy fix, but I mean,
I hope it is that.
I mean, I've got the parts to rebuild the top end of this engine. It's just like I was going to wait until we store the boat and then do it,
yeah,
on dry land, do it properly and test it. So that's the next thing I'll try, and then after that I'm going to start looking for diesel leaks or block filters or anything else like that. But the glass bowl looks pristine, like it looks like perfect clean diesel. There's not a tiny bit of water or any kind of debris in it. So.
Was that you stopping it, or did it conk out again?
No, I stopped it.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's literally, it must have some sort of low oil cut out, so it starts and it goes, oh, I haven't got enough oil.
Awesome.
So that's all it is. But I can't see
where it leaks.
Yeah, the oil leak is coming somewhere from behind the head where I can't get my eyes to. Basically, the thing needs a rebuild. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that's all it is for now.
Yeah. I'll just let the oil run back to the sump and then top it right off again. But I mean, I only topped it up a week ago, just before we left.
Quite a big leak then.
Yeah.
So it's just gone 6 in the morning. I'm on watch. Been on watch since about 4. Just making a cup of tea. It's just starting to get light, and I've just started the engine because the batteries were a bit low. So normally we'd start the generator, but our speed had dropped a bit, so we need to keep up, ideally over 7 knots, otherwise we won't get until after dark. So if we just start the engine, just click it into gear, then it just ticks over enough to give us an extra bit of speed. So at the moment we've got about 12 hours left, I think, if we keep up a decent speed, which should get us in to the anchorage by 6, so it should just about still be light, and we'll be able to pick a good spot and avoid all the bommies and things that we're a little bit worried about navigating if it was after dark. It's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mostly just like soily mud.
This is a hammock that we got in St Martin off a wrecked boat that somebody had left, with permission from the owner, who's just left it. Yeah. Right, looks like it's coming up alright.
Where do you do your washing? What's going on? Where are you? I think the hammock's not really working.
It's like I'm in a little pod.
You ripe yet?
So this has been the longest passage me and Nicky have done alone, just the two of us, 5 nights and 6 days. It's also the passage that's taken us over the deepest water we've ever been across, which was 8,150 something metres across the Puerto Rico Trench, which is quite unimaginable, like 8 kilometres just straight down. And anyway, we're nearly there. We're having to motor sail in the last little bit, and hopefully we'll be at anchor, yeah, in 8 hours, something like that.
At last! Land! Woohoo! We're nearly here!
We're just on the approach to Rock Harbour Sound in Eleuthera, and this is the first bit of sort of shallow water coral bommy navigation we've done. I've got Nikki on the bow. She's trying to spot the difference between a coral head and just a normal bomb. But yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking, really.
realise quite how big this place is. Absolutely massive. And it's all about 2 metres or less. There's only a handful of boats over there near the town. Yeah, so it's low tide now, so if we do run aground we can technically float again. It's having a bit of an issue getting the anchor to set. It feels like it's like sand over rock, so you can feel it sort of drag, and then it'll like pop out, and then drag, and oh, it's annoying. So just reversing now a little bit harder to try and make it dig in. I think it's good now. Cool. Well, cheers. We made it.
Cheers.
In the Bahamas.
Yeah, I'm knackered.
Yeah, I'm knackered too. It was a long trip and pretty hard work in the beginning. So, but we're here now.
Yeah, we made it.
We can enjoy it, and I've got friends coming in 3 days.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Known friends of ours. We've so tired. I need to make up a tea.